Welcome to the Piano Man podcast. Today we chat with Bonno Getz, a Dutch piano entertainer with classical roots. We talk about piano entertaining and his ongoing projects such as the Beatles tribute and his current study in Amsterdam. Let's get into it. So Bonno, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And joining us in the podcast. So I've met you again in Crazy Pianos. How long ago was that? Like a year ago or so?
Something like that. Year and a half, year ago.
How long have you been playing there?
I think I started around like end of summer, not last year, but the year before that. So almost 2 years.
A couple of years. And was that the first time you'd done that kind of gig?
Basically, in that way, yes.
Like dueling
piano
pianos.
bar entertainment. Yeah, for sure. That was the first time. First time I've been doing that job. Yeah.
And what do you think? How do you find it?
It's very interesting. I really enjoy it. Actually, I was there with a friend, like just visiting that summer, and she was like, "This is perfect for you. You know, like you love entertaining. You love playing songs that people know or like that people can join along to." And so it was kind of like, oh yeah, this is actually a job that I would really like to do. And I think it fits me, and that's why I like it a lot.
How did you hear about it?
I think my friend's from the US, and she was like visiting in The Hague, and I mean, for her, it's a very normal, not normal, but the normal thing to go to a piano bar, and there's like sing along, and there's requests you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is quite different actually, but it is a similar concept.
Yeah, a similar concept. So she just naturally went there because she likes it, and then I joined, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I had heard of the place from my cousin like 4 years ago or something, but for some reason I never thought of actually going or trying it out, or it just didn't come into my mind or something.
So, but you're musically yourself.
Yeah.
Where are you coming from? Like early music career. Like, how did you get into music yourself?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm still a bit young. I'm 24. But I started when I was like 10 with I think I started with keyboard classes, then like piano classes. It was mostly based off of sheet music and mostly classical music or like modern classical Greek, Debussy, stuff like that.
So you read?
Yeah. I started with reading really, and some jazz things, but it was all like written out, like it's like a written out Duke Ellington solo,
which is actually also a good way to feel what it feels like. I think.
Yeah,
I think my first jazz songs I learned from reading as well. You know.
Yeah,
and they weren't hard, but you get the idea of swing. You know.
Yeah, I
think that's the hardest thing to grasp.
Yeah, I really exactly. I got that, and I remember the first time of playing it, I was forgetting the swing, and then my teacher was like, "No, it works like this, like ding, da, ding, da, ding," and that was like, "Oh wow!" And it goes naturally though. Like once you get the hang of it.
It's funny because there's two different kinds of swing. I don't know if you know this, but there's a triplet swing, and then there's a semi-quaver swing. Semi-quaver swing was earlier, like Joplin and stuff, and then later on it became more of a triplet rhythm.
Oh, really?
So. You got
like the ragtime,
and that's more like what you call like Ricky Ticky. So it's ba da 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 da. And then the triplet swing came later. Ba da do da da do da da do da da ba da ba da ba. That's more like the Ellington thing, you know, the swing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, it's interesting. You know, swing at late and early development, but often people get it back to front too. So they do. Ba ba da ba da ba da ba da instead of ba ba do ba do ba do. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's one of those things. Swing.
It was interesting to me that it's. At first I also didn't realize that it was just like the ding that ding. You're leaving out the second of the triplet, right?
Yes.
Like that's But like I was wondering, like, is that an African thing, or like where did it originate? Do you know?
Well, I think swing rhythm It's I'm not really sure actually. I know that the scale comes from Africa.
Yeah.
It's approximation. The blues scale is an approximation of an African scale. The rhythm originally came from marching bands and stuff.
Yeah, I think.
And that's why it was originally with the semi-quaver, because early classical music and early ragtime you'll hear is, the semi-quaver swing.
Yeah.
And later on became the triplet swing. And actually, I'm not sure where the triplet swing came from. That's an interesting question.
I think must be a mixture, something like the.
Well, definitely the music itself, jazz, is a mixture of both.
Yeah, of a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so you started when you were 10. Digressing there.
We're at 10, and so that was mostly just playing piano from notes, right? Like I did not think to look up something myself or like that, but that was for the first like few years. And then I think I met a friend of mine introduced me to the Beatles at school when I was like 14, 15.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, I was always, my dad listened to a lot of Bob Dylan, like my mom loves a lot of 60s, 70s, so I've always been kind of a 60s kid. But that was like a full revelation, like, wow, that was the moment I wanted to learn guitar, I wanted to sing more, I wanted to write. We formed a band also, my friend and I, Jordi, and I played bass and keys and stuff. So that was like the big how do you say that? Like that was really like a revolution almost, just from playing from sheet at recitals to like actually writing songs and playing them for people and
big eye opener.
And I joined a cover band and stuff and played at the musical at my school and stuff in the band. So that was really the big. And that was never like education, but it was an education, like of course. It was not a formal education, but and then so I had like 6 years of piano classes, and then a few piano vocal lessons, and since last year I started studying at the Conservatory in Amsterdam. So for keys and vocals. And
how's it going? Is it going well?
It's going really well. It's really cool. Like like every conservatory is different. This one is
absolutely
This one is quite focused on more like building your artistry or like and writing, and it's not that technical yet. Like
you mean like more self-development or?
Yeah, more self-development, more like how to be a unique character in the music world, so to say. And it's not that much focused on like technical ability of playing. It is very focused on production though, which I really like because I didn't have a lot of knowledge about that.
You mean like using DAWs and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, exactly. So you get like classes in Logic Pro, and it's great. It is like blown my mind several times.
Do you only do Logic Pro, or do you do all the others?
Yeah, no, I started with GarageBand when I was a kid, and I just switched to Logic. And then
no, I mean in Amsterdam, do they do more than Logic Pro, or do they only do that DAW?
They do have like a separate course on Ableton, I think, but it is mostly focused on Logic. Like they teach, especially the first year, it's just mostly Logic.
That's interesting. There's a choice of DAW,
Yeah.
I mean, because the others really, Cubase and Pro Tools.
Yeah.
I mean, they have different, not applications, they have different kind of pros and cons,
Yeah.
And I would say, an industry standard is probably Pro Tools, right?
Yeah, I think, it is.
But Logic is got a lot of keyboards and plugins and coming with it.
Yeah, it is great.
I use Cubase and that I use Waves plugins and other plugins, and there's a whole lot of it's a whole myriad of stuff. And I think that one, the best thing about it is MIDI. So it's interesting,
Yeah.
And I mean, like a lot of guys that I spoke to that do, that are mixers and stuff, are proficient in a few of them, because it's not very often that you only have one DAW. You got people coming in with multiple DAWs,
Right. Yeah.
And so I would have thought that, hey, maybe they would introduce you to some of the others. Or
yeah, they kind of do, but it's mostly focused on Logic. And,
okay.
But I think they're going to do a course on Ableton and Pro Tools later.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it's a separate.
They're all very similar.
Yeah,
in the end. Very similar. Except I think for me personally, I found Pro Tools a bit boring to look at.
Yeah, Logic is just, if you're used to MacBook, then that's like the same.
Is it colorful or is it very grey? Or
I mean, you can make it very color. You can make it colorful. I think it is, the custom setting is grayish, but I don't know. It doesn't look. It looks attractive to work with in a way. Like it's for me, but yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So, so when you said before that you went to Crazy Pianos and checked it out, how did you actually start getting into playing? I mean, like, did you have enough songs? How did that all go?
Yeah, I think I did have enough songs, like, but it was mostly centered in like 60s, 70s, which was fun, I think surprising, because they were maybe expecting like, oh, this is a young guy, he knows all the Anton and like the hip songs, and I do know some of them, but my main interest is in like the older stuff, but not mainly anymore though. But they were just, I think they were a bit like, what? And this guy's playing like Neil Sedaka and Roy Orbison and stuff, and like 60s hits, like or one-hit wonders.
I think that's fantastic. I think that's so good, because it just makes you different, Yeah. And we don't want everybody playing the same thing, You've got to have an identity, and that makes it, oh, this guy is different. Like, that's interesting. And it's still stuff people know. So, I think it's great.
Exactly, yeah. Most people know it, exactly. So
and you pull out some ones that I haven't heard in a long time. I think you did Lucy in the Sky of Diamonds once.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I was like, I love this song. I should learn it,
Strawberry Fields, Lucy in the Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know all those Beatles hits, huh?
Yeah. I'm a huge Beatles fan.
You were saying before you were doing a Beatles tribute?
Yeah.
So you really know a lot of Beatles songs.
Yeah, exactly. They taught me how to like play, how to sing, how to write. So like it's really in my DNA, and then like Elvis, Bob Dylan maybe also, but mostly Paul McCartney, Beatles.
Oh yes, stuff. You do a lot of Elvis, don't you?
Yeah.
And, a lot of Elvis I haven't heard before as well.
Oh really?
Online I heard you do some, I think. I don't remember now, but and so. But then, because you were saying before that you went to Crazy Pianos and you saw it. Yeah. But how did you actually get into it? Did you go, hey, have you got I'm a player, can I have a gig?
Yeah, it was quite, like, I think it was good that I did not have a lot of knowledge about how the field works, because I think Crazy Pianos is quite like a really well-known place. Like, it's a good quality that plays there, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
But I just didn't know. So I really went in with like, how do you say it? Not naive, but kind of like without
optimism, like
like And I just,
this isn't a problem without a care. Yeah,
I was just like, I think I asked Jan, one of the managers, like, hey, do you need people here to play? And he's like, yeah, maybe we need people. I can arrange an appointment with you. So I think like 2 days later, I talked with Job Wortelboer, the owner. Yeah. And I think Stevie J was playing as well. Yeah. So the main Mr. Crazy Pianos, right? Yeah. And I just brought like a list of songs that I play, or like I really just the night before I just wrote them down. Like, okay, I think I can play this one by heart. I can play this one by heart. So I think that was a list of like 100 songs or something. And then I just brought it, and I brought like a sort of CV, or like it was not really that uitgebreid, that detailed, but and Job was like, okay, and after the talk he was like, okay, I somehow, Bonno, I have a good feeling about this, like I'm gonna get Stevie, and I want you to play today, and he never heard me play or nothing, like.
Yeah. That's the best way to audition people. Just check them on the stage.
Just check them on the stage.
In the deep end.
Yeah. And I think it was a Sunday or something outside, But so I think I played like 3 songs, and I actually forgot to play the bass in the left hand, which is quite essential. But
so that was new for you?
Yeah, that was very new. I never saw that. But
scary for a lot of people to
quite,
do it.
I'm more used to it now, but it's like the detaching, you know. But I'm used to playing bass in the left, but not like bass.
I know. Yeah, well, that's true. I kind of found it funny, and I still do sometimes. If I learn something on the piano, but then I have to play my left-hand bass. If I learn it this way and then switch to my left hand, the other way, that's another feeling you've got to get used to. You know?
Yeah,
having your hands on different levels.
Yeah, especially with soloing, it's really weird to keep on going on the left, and it feels weird.
It's a skill that needs a lot of practice.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely. So I practice at home and stuff, and I think. Yeah, I think a month later after that audition, or a few weeks after, he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna put you on," you know, on a Sunday, I think it was, and I think he told Eveline, the drummer, like, keep an eye on him, or help him out if something, you know. So, but she was really surprised. He was like, "Oh, you know a lot of songs, you know, like I think you're a good fit here," and then I started doing like quite shortly after that, I started playing Saturdays and Fridays, and so that was the start of Crazy Pianos.
And what about other piano bars around? Have you done many other piano bars?
Yeah, not a lot. I did play at Vrienden Live in Rotterdam. Yeah. I played in this place in Purmerend, Crazy Kalfje. I don't know if you...
I don't know that, I know.
I don't know if they're still doing music, but I played there twice, I think. And Heren van Amstel in Amsterdam. It's like across from Live Amsterdam.
Oh, they have piano players in there?
Yeah, only on Fridays they started doing they started setting up something. So I have a friend of mine. Yeah.
Because they normally do like original bands and stuff, don't they? Or?
Also, but they also have like cover bands. Yeah.
It looks like a cool venue, actually.
Yeah, it is.
I've never been in there, but...
It is really cool. It's... yeah, I think it's the place where it all started, kind of. I think that was like the first bar, and then they started doing like Vrienden van Amstel and like Vrienden Live. So that's like a bar from the 60s, 70s. It's like, it's really, it's quite big also.
But now it looks quite modern.
Yeah, a bit, but it's still quite a saloon vibe in a way.
Okay.
It's quite...
I've got to say I haven't been inside. Because it's across from Live when I used to play there.
Oh, yeah.
I always used to look over and think, oh, wow, that looks really cool, you know.
Yeah.
And often there was bands playing there, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think on Saturday they have mostly bands, and on Fridays they started setting up something to have some music on Friday. Yeah. So and I've also done like gigs in like elderly homes.
Yeah, you told me. So you got like an Elvis show, and you did them in. I did a lot of that when I was younger as well, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
I used to go around to the, well, I didn't do it a lot. I did it quite a few times, though. With my sister, we went and sung and played songs on the piano for at some of the homes.
Yeah. Cool.
And it's a funny reaction you get from them. Sometimes they're like, other times they're like really, really grateful, you know?
Yeah, it's quite mixed. Like
it is, isn't it?
Yeah, like my mom works at these houses, but especially one of them is a lot of demented people or people that cannot even talk anymore.
Yeah.
So like, and they cannot like clap their hands a lot. So it's funny. Like one time I played, like I saw her standing there or something, and it's like at the end it's like do 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 do. There's like no applause or
definitely silence. Yeah,
but people appreciate it a lot. They talk about it like days after. And especially with the Elvis thing, it's a very visual thing, obviously.
Yeah.
So like I go in like a jumpsuit. Sometimes I do like the first half, like kind of like leather jacket.
With guitar?
Yeah, with guitar, leather jacket, like first half of like the rock and roll Elvis.
Yeah.
And then second half I do like the Vegas Elvis.
Oh yeah, cool.
But yeah, people really love that. Like the reaction is really big. Like even people that normally don't talk or don't like smile ever, they're like smiling, and it's really
that's a good feeling.
Thankful to do dankbaar.
Yeah, appreciative. Yeah, for sure. So I would say musically, I mean, your influences are Elvis Presley and the Beatles.
Yeah.
But what else? What else has musically influenced you? Vocally, instrumentally. What are some of your influences?
So many things. Like. I'm really like a song guy. So like, in essence, it doesn't matter to me what genre or what artist it is per se, but I do tend to go to kind of like smart songs. So I really like ABBA, for example, like songs that are just smart in a way, as in like, oh, skipping a bar there, or like doing this or that.
Yeah. Clever arrangements.
Yeah, clever arrangements.
There's a lot of that in ABBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the Beatles.
And the Beatles, yeah. They were amazing arrangers. Like, and Björn and Benny were great producers also. But
yeah, amazing.
Yeah. So, but anything, like I even like some Taylor Swift stuff, or like a lot of like indie bands, or some hard rock stuff. I also like a lot of Mozart and Bach, and like any.
You played a lot of that earlier in your life.
Yeah, and I still do. Just that's like my hobby kind
What's
of.
What's your favorite Mozart tune?
Probably Sonata 11 is like. It's
That's a really nice song.
It's so beautiful, and it's funny because the progression is almost like a 1-5-6-4. It's almost like a 4-chord song. It's like 5, and then
And there's so much great Mozart. I think, for me personally, he was a massive influence on me early on.
Really?
Yeah, well, I did study classical for a little bit, and I found I still love to play these days. Sonata in C, K545.
Yeah,
I know that's a very standard one, but I actually
I love that.
I love the second movement. I love the last movement.
That one, or
no?
Oh, it's not Sonata.
Oh yeah, that is it.
Yeah,
that is it. Yeah, sorry.
Like the famous Sonata. Yeah,
that one. I love it.
It's
fantastic.
So it's meditative to play it.
It is. It's like a form of meditating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely, I find that. Not so much for the first movement, although I do like it. And I found Mozart's very transparent, so that if your technique isn't really on it, you can really hear, because it's just so simple that you'll hear if you're not exactly in time,
Yeah.
And just something completely different here.
We're digressing.
We are. We're going off on a Mozart tangent, which is great. I do love Mozart.
Me too.
What about singing in different languages? Now, I mean, look, I come from Australia.
Yeah.
We sing in one language, English.
Australian.
We don't have many direct language influences. I mean, like, okay, we're close to China and,
Southeast
Indonesia.
Asia. Indonesia.
So there is in school these days now, they have Indonesian languages and even Chinese, cool. I think. But back in the day when I was there, it was more Italian.
So I'm Dutch, obviously. So that's. But I've never been much of a Dutch music listener. So I actually had to actually practice that.
Yeah, right.
But it comes naturally once you start doing it more.
I mean, look, because it's your mother tongue, you can pretty much hear it and emulate it straight away.
Yeah.
For me, the problem was, and I would say that you'd have this problem with different languages, is the phonetics of it.
Yeah.
It's so easy, especially when you get older, it's so easy to slip into your own phonetics accidentally and then sound very not authentic is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, but I think it's cool to hear you like sing a Dutch song, even if it's not like you can hear it, you're not a native speaker or something. No, but it is cool. Like, it's really cool.
I understand that, but for me as a singer, I find it frustrating. I'm like, I don't want to be a novelty. I want it to sound Dutch, or I want it to sound Italian, or I want it to sound Norwegian. Oh my God, Norwegian. Oh, that hurts me, I tell you. But I don't practice it enough, actually. I should definitely practice it more. But I mean, do you learn them phonetically or? So
for me, the case for me is as a kid, I actually lived in South America, in Bolivia.
Oh wow, yeah, that's right. You did tell that.
So when I was 5 to 9, I lived there, and I think Spanish was actually my first language when I was, when I was 7, 8, 9.
You still speak?
Yeah, I still do, but not fluently, but I can have a conversation. I can understand it. So
and you still have the native sound?
De Bolivia, sí. So like the Bolivian Spanish is for me really easy to understand. Like if I like the Spanish is really hard to
it's a different
to
dialect.
follow, and Bolivian is more slow. It's more articulated.
Oh, okay.
So, sí, aún hablo español.
Yeah.
So that's really like a big pro for me because it opens up. Once you know Spanish, it's easier to pronounce or understand Portuguese. It's easier to sing in Italian.
Yeah.
French even a bit, maybe not fully, but so. And I had some French in school. I had some German in school.
Well, this is the thing. Being Dutch, you automatically learn French and German to a point. I think brugklas or so, you start to choose, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Around
which is 12, 13 or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around
you start to choose which language you want to focus on.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, you do learn French and German.
Yeah, French, German,
English, and Dutch.
Yeah, and sometimes you can choose like Spanish or Chinese these days. It depends on the school, but
that's
like an extra course. Yeah,
that's later on after you.
Yeah, a bit later.
Because everybody has to learn those languages until they're about 11 or 12 or so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Like that's in primary school, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, we get a bit of a lot. I mean,
so that's a huge advantage because you're developing concepts and sounds early,
yes,
which makes a big difference for singing them later. I mean,
yeah, for me it's like there's like some Portuguese songs or like nossa, right?
Yeah.
I did look up the words once, but I'm really good at remembering like sounds and phonetics. So
yeah.
For me, I just bluff it, But I would rather obviously know it all. But there's so many songs to know.
You can't do every song, keep going back, because you do forget. And what I find is I think to myself, okay, you know what? I need to go back and check these songs because am I saying it right? Because sometimes I hear people do "Ai Si Tu Pega" different to me. They pronounce different words, and I'm like, are they right or am I wrong? Am I right? I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But nobody knows in a way, or like unless there's like Brazilian people at the bar,
or Portuguese people.
Yeah, but even like there's even like a lot of sometimes even Beatles songs that I've heard a million times, and then I think I don't know which one it was, but I looked up the words and I was like, "What is that? What they sing?"
Yeah.
And then because I just remember it phonetically, and then once you start covering it, you actually make words out of it. I think, or like once you start trying it,
that's so
and
true,
then you keep on doing the things you.
Or you
made
learn
up.
songs not so much by listening, but by reading text and chords. And so you go, oh, well, I know how that song goes. I just need the words and the chords. And you do that. And then because you didn't learn it perfectly, you go off on your own little tangent. And then over time, because you've learned it and you don't revise it, it morphs and morphs and morphs until it's, people are like, what are you singing, dude? Yeah. That's not what I heard. Yeah, I get that. Especially so learning multiple songs, it's hard.
Yeah. But it's not... Yeah, I mean, it's not the most... there's not going to be people like punching you for that, but it's sometimes weird to find out, like, what? Is that what they sing?
And I always feel like, oh, what a dick,
Yeah,
I feel so stupid that but it can happen. I mean, that's how it kind of goes,
I was looking at this sheet of like Imagine by John Lennon, and it was like, imagine all the people. And it's very like, because it's easier to play for someone who just learned the read sheet.
Well, look, it's the same with jazz. You'll have an approximate thing, but people will do their own thing anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, and so but playing it literal is painful to listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the case with sheet music. Sorry.
Yeah.
What about? Do you have any really good, crazy gig story for us?
Yeah, I thought about that before, but I haven't experienced too crazy things. Like I think one thing was last year I was playing at Crazy Pianos, and I was doing like my signature song Mexico by Zangeres Zonder Naam, Mexico, and it was some cheering afterwards and stuff, and that was the end of my set.
Yeah,
and then I think Adrian Piper, my colleague Adrian, came up to me and he was like, "Dude, Robin van Persie is sitting at the table on the right."
What?
And I was like, oh my God. I just played Mexico for Robin van Persie, and
the guy who originally sung it.
No, it's like the soccer player, like the he's like, I'm not a big football fan, but as a kid, he was like my favorite football player. He was like in Manchester United and stuff. And
so was it that he was just there as a superstar, or that he had something to do with the song?
No, he was just sitting at the table. But it was just funny to me that I played this song, this random song to this guy, and apparently he liked it and stuff. And then later he played. He also sang Guus Meeuwis' Het is een Nacht.
He got up and sung that?
Yeah, he with like two friends or something. And that was great. Like crazy gigs, I don't know, like it's just mostly like drunk people coming up to you. And,
absolutely.
And I think one time in the summer it was like a group of The Hague, these typical The Hague guys, super drunk already, coming up, and he just took my microphone, and Job came like, oh, this cannot be, and one of them like almost started a fight with Jos, the drummer, and it was just like a mess, and you're just trying to like, keep it up and sing Walking on Sunshine, and it's mostly the drunk people that are interesting, though, but they can be like so annoying sometimes.
Well, at the end, we're just selling alcohol, aren't we? And so you're always going to get this, that end of the scale of alcohol drinkers, and it's going to make the night pretty bloody interesting.
Exactly. But I haven't experienced like crazy things. I think that's something for the future.
Yeah, I think so. No, I've got lots and lots of stories, but I won't go into that. So I mean, like, what about other gigs at all? Like, I mean, that's Crazy Pianos. You've done other gigs before Crazy Pianos yourself? I mean, I've seen you do other kind of like solo gigs and stuff. Yeah. Yeah,
many things. I obviously write my own music, so like. I've always been like in bands or stuff, or like sort of like a psychedelic band and a cover band, and then indie pop band. So like I like doing that. I also started last year with Cabaret. So like with a friend of mine, Leon, I set up a show.
How's that going? Is it going good?
Yeah, it's going pretty okay. Like in 2 weeks I have the semi-finals of the Tilburg Cabaret Festival, so I got through the first round.
There's a Cabaret Festival competition?
Yeah, there's like a competition.
Wow.
And
okay, cool.
Yeah, it's cool, and I just got admitted for the Utrecht Cabaret Festival. So
they have them everywhere.
Cool. Yeah, they have them everywhere.
That's crazy,
They
man.
have them in Amsterdam.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if you already participate in one, like, you have to send in material, etc. So if you participate in one, it's really good signal that, that places can book you or whatever, or you can do a show somewhere.
Oh, that's great.
So I'm happy that I got to start with that, and but I do a lot of, like, it's a mixture of like a bit stand up and mostly songs. So like I write a lot of songs that are somewhat comedic or satirical, and
I've seen a few on your YouTube or TikTok.
You
do TikTok, don't you?
Yeah, TikTok, YouTube.
What about Instagram?
Instagram, yeah.
Which one do you use the most?
For my music, I mean, I do use Instagram the most, probably just because I'm on there the most. But I don't know. I think I do. Like, some of the things I'm proud of are like mostly on YouTube, because they're like, I used to do like one-man band things that I play every instrument.
Yes,
and,
I've seen that.
Yeah, stuff like that. And that.
What's the one, Skeletons?
Spooky Scary Skeletons.
Scary. I like that.
Like a surf rock cover of. Yeah. And I just really like doing it, but it takes a lot of time, obviously, to like, you need to set up. I need to mix a song. Everything needs to be perfect, And on TikTok, I mostly do like stupid things, or like top 5 things. I had like a semi-viral video with like Eurovision, my top 5, and I imitate my favorite songs of that year and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And so TikTok is mostly for like, like shorter things.
What about lifestyle? How do you find the lifestyle of being a musician?
Yeah,
have you ever done another job before?
I did a few things, like I was a driver, driving around cars through the Netherlands and stuff. Yeah. Or like at a supermarket. When I was younger, but then for sure prefer being a musician. I mean, it is a different lifestyle. You know, it's kind of like a reversed rhythm almost. To
9 to 5ers.
Yeah, it mostly happens in the night. You know, like and in the weekends. So you gotta get used to that. And now I'm in school also, so I started to play a bit less than before because I have like the weekly classes obviously, and then I know if I have the classes and in the weekend I do 3 gigs or something, I'm gonna burn myself out at some point. So I lessen a bit, or I look what I can do. But yeah, I like the lifestyle. I mean, I've never really liked how do you say that?
9 to 5 living.
Yeah, I've never like had the aspiration to have a 9 to 5 life, or like I never had a really routine day, or like so it comes natural in a way, but it has some sacrifices sometimes, you know, like sometimes maybe you would rather hang out with friends or go to this concert, or like, and then you have to play obviously, but I mean that's it's a blessing, you know. Like, that's like,
oh damn, I have to play.
I have
really
to, yeah,
sucks,
it's just a luxury.
I wish I could do nothing.
Yeah, it's just when I'm hearing myself say this, it's a bit bullshit to say, but so I really like it. I think, but you need to be, you know, you need to have some discipline in a way.
I mean, I'm married with kids, so. For me, it's more you have to have the right people in your life that are willing to live that lifestyle. But actually, it actually works really well with a 9 to 5er, because you're doing the opposite end, especially if you've got kids. You can take them to school.
Yeah.
You've got your days free at home to practice and do what you have to, admin, etc. And then you go out at night when they're sleeping anyway. So, I mean, okay, you probably... time that you won't have with your wife or your partner. Yeah. But it kind of works out, you know.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Hey, if you could go back in time and meet yourself, what advice would you give to yourself as a new player?
That's always quite hard. I think just take it a bit more easy, you know, like don't be too hard on yourself. Like I used to be I'm still quite self-critical, you know, like, oh, this is not perfect, this is not in tune, I cannot do this and that. Yeah. Mostly focusing on what you still cannot do, you know, obviously, but maybe I would just say, like, you know, be proud of what you already can, and it's good to have some ambition, but not make yourself crazy, and, you know, because time will give you that improvement already, you know, you cannot... obviously, it's good to practice. It's good to focus on things, but just take it easy.
I guess it's part of your drive as well, isn't it? Like, not being satisfied pushes you to be better.
Oh yeah,
so that's also good. But what about new players that are coming in now, young players? What advice would you give to them about how to get into being a piano entertainer?
Obviously depends on the player, what they need.
What their skills are.
Yeah, I think it's good maybe, because at the beginning I was also quite stressed that I didn't know enough songs, you know, but you do know enough songs always, you know, and maybe you cannot do every request. No. But I would say, like, do not get too stressed about not knowing a song. You can always figure something out. Like if you get Elton John, you know, a Tiny Dancer or something, and you could be like, oh, but I do know I'm Still Standing, or I do know a Billy Joel song. You know, even if it sounds weird, you'll find something that they like. You know, it's so.
But what about specifically advice for if you want to get into it? What should they do?
Oh yeah, I mean, you need to have like practical things.
Yeah, practical things. Like if you're like, I want to do that. What should they do?
I mean, some experience is good. like I don't think you can just, if you're just able to play and sing at home, and I don't think you're gonna like save yourself on stage there, because it is really something else than just also playing a normal show, and you know your set list is really dynamic, you know. So you need to be playful. I would recommend just getting some experience in just performing and like also.
And how would you do that?
Yeah, just go to open mics.
Open mics.
Stuff like I think I started with like open mics, and I had some contacts, or I did like a huiskamerconcert, like a living room concert and stuff. You can always sign up for stuff like that.
How did you get into house living room concerts?
Yeah,
that's a thing in the Netherlands. You see, it's not actually.
Really?
Yeah, we don't have that in Australia. But
okay.
in the Netherlands, you can actually. There's a lot of people, musicians, that go to people's houses, and then all the people around come to the concert with somebody's, and they kind of take turns.
It's like they go around the
different houses doing gigs. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Did you do some of that?
Yeah, I when I was 15, I think I started with that in Meppel, place I used to live in Drenthe, and.
I'll be there.
Yeah, with Peter, it was actually the janitor of my school, and he really liked me when he saw me play at school or something, and he was like, do a concert at my house, and I played with my father too a bit, and so you just, I mean, some contacts are good, but you can always sign up for those things, and they always encourage new people to play, and like really open stage nights, I can really recommend. Because you're playing in front of a crowd that doesn't know you, so you need to present yourself. So I really recommend open stage nights, open mics, living room concerts, things you can just. There's a lot of festivals you can sign up for, and they'll play. Like you won't get paid, maybe, but
Well, I mean,
in the beginning you can't expect to be paid.
No,
I think,
even if you don't, you're gaining so much from that experience.
Yeah.
It's worth more than the money,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's if you can not have to pay to play, then you got yourself in a good situation.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and most of us got in. I don't think any musician started playing music just because I can make music with this later, or I can make money with this later. I think everyone starts out of a sort of interest in playing music.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, like most of my first work, actual gigs, were totally nothing to do with money. Just chance performance situations.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Hey, I'd love to hear a song from you, man.
Yeah.
So let's head over to the piano.
Yeah, let's do it.
Head over. So what I'd love to hear is your comfortable song. So when you come to a gig and you have no idea what to play, what's the song you play that you're comfortable with?
Yeah, I usually, when I start my set, so some reverb.
There is.
That's not bad. But when I start my set, I usually go with some Elvis because it's just a bit lower. It's usually it's a good range for me to sing. Usually a song I know well. Even if I mess up the lyrics, I know another verse or something. So I always go with something by Elvis.
Oh, yeah. What would you like to play?
Yeah, I'll play one of my favorite songs, Don't Be Cruel.
I'll go for it. Yeah, sweet.
I can be found sitting home all alone. If you can't come around, at least please telephone. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. Baby, if I made you mad with something I might have said, please forget my past. Your future looks bright ahead. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. I don't want no other love. Oh, baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. Oh, don't be cruel to a heart that's true. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. I don't want no other love. Oh, baby, it's just you I'm thinking of.
Awesome, man. You've got really good sound for that. It sounds
thank you.
Really, really good. Perfect kind of voice for that sound as well.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I love playing that song.
Yeah, man. So now, at the moment, we've kind of got the setup that we have at Crazy Pianos.
Oh, yeah.
When you do solo gigs, do you ever use your own equipment? Do you have a setup that you like to use or something, or not?
Yeah.
Is it just usually piano when you play on your own?
I'm not that experienced yet. Usually they have some sort of piano there.
Yep.
So like the basic right hand part, basically. Yeah. I do have like a Roland VR09. It's actually it's quite a cheap keyboard, but it does the trick, you know. I have some like presets, you know, like normal bass on the left hand and some brass or some.
And you use that without drums? You play that kind of thing. Oh,
I haven't tried that yet, but I want to get into that maybe.
You're familiar with this setup, aren't you?
Yeah, this is what I'm most
crazy
familiar.
Piano setup.
Yeah,
the FA06.
Yeah,
or
this is
the
my
Stevie.
The Stevie J keyboard.
setup. Yes, he's set this up really well. So I'm interested. I'm curious. What are some of your tips and tricks with actually entertaining? What do you do to entertain the crowd?
Yeah, so
that you've come up with.
Yeah, I mean, what I've picked up from others, you know, like, is usually you don't play the song exactly the same as the original, right? Okay, so for example, like Sweet Caroline or something, like, especially when you go to the chorus, which is obviously like a big thing. Yeah. You want to keep them like a bit, you know, you want to make them wait a bit more, you know? So like when you go like, what's it again? Hands touching him, touching you. And you keep it like this and you go like, okay, I want to see everyone's hands in the air. Iedereen met die handen omhoog, waar zijn ze dan? En dan zingen we mee. 2, 1, 2, 3. Sweet Caroline. And always pause, you know, like
that's great. It's talking to people in the song kind of thing.
Yeah, talking like when the chorus is coming up and you like hype them up, you know.
Yeah, it's so important. Yeah,
you go like, in the back, I don't see anyone with their hands in the back over there. And you want to keep everyone engaged for that special moment, that climax, you know. So
absolutely, that's something I learned from Stevie J. Actually, he does that really well. He times it well with these songs. Sometimes you can get it wrong, but that's a really great technique, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And anything else that you've developed yourself? Or?
Yeah. And also like, you need to be confident. Obviously, like you need to think of like quite some steps before, you know, like for example, with this case of the Sweet Caroline chorus. Yeah. You'll have a chance that people go like, and people want to sing it already like, Sweet you know, but you're like, no, everyone with their hands. You need to like interrupt them, you know, like, you need to be directive. You're kind of, that's what I really like doing, you know, and I'm still learning, but you just, you know, keep control and, you know, you cannot let them lead you, you know, you're leading.
True. Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, you're part of the crowd, you know, like, so that's really important. You're not a separate person up there. You're like part of everyone, I think.
Absolutely.
Which is really important. I don't remember what your question
was. We were just talking about how you interact, what your tips were for entertaining, which is, you had a great tip there, the one about using the song to build the moment and pausing before the chorus or something. Yeah, that's really good because it's funny that I've not talked about that with anybody, but that's really. No. I find often people find this question really difficult.
Okay.
And people really have to think about it because people don't think about it. It kind of just happens, you know. And so when you get to, hey, how do you do that? They're like, how do I do that? I have no idea, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I'm also not conscious of a lot of things I do, but I think like looking at the crowd is very important, you know, sensing the crowd. Yeah. One other trick that I didn't really realize that's helpful, like obviously like we use like some modulations, right? Yeah. And I never realized you always use the fifth of the next chords you're gonna play, and you hold it on, you know, like
the 11 chord on the 5.
So like with like vanavond ga ik even uit mijn bol, and at some point it's like vanavond ga ik, you know, like, and you can always extend that also, you know, like you're vanavond ga ik even uit mijn bol. Ja, dames en heren, daar gaan we. 1, 2, 3, vanavond ga ik. So like you can use that again as a pivot. You know?
A similar way to what you were talking about before, but using the 11 chord to build the 5/11 chord, if you like.
Yeah,
to build suspension. Yeah,
exactly.
To build up. Yeah, that's. I mean, I tell you, that's funny because I've heard, Johnny Corsi.
Yeah,
he does that with just about every song he plays.
yeah.
Build up and up and up and up. I find that I do that with a few songs actually, where I'll actually go up a tone and speed up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So. Country roads, la la la, hey, la la la, hey, la la la, hey, la la la, and that's a lot of fun. That's definitely a great tip, man.
That's something I never realized that was cool. What else? Like and also it's really nice to have that like I think Stevie always does, like whatever song is finished and he's like, and there's applause and then he does like. Na, 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 na. You know? And it's like you always know that there's a tension there. So it's really nice to start with that 5, whatever song you're starting, just because you know exactly what key it's going to be, and
you can hear that something's coming. You're like, oh, what's happening here? And then bang, What about practice? Like, how do you learn songs? Do you have a method, or is it just repetition?
I have a bit of a method. I have this playlist on Spotify that it's called Learn. So I just add songs that I think people would want to hear maybe in the future. Yeah. And I just listen to that sometimes. Obviously, when I play, I hear others play certain songs, and I'm like, okay, maybe I should learn that. Yeah. I usually try to do it by ear at first, and. Yeah, I think with most songs it is possible to learn by ear. Mm-hmm.
How else would you if you didn't learn by ear?
Then I just look up like the chords on Ultimate Guitar or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I also bought it's like €15 a year for the chords on Ultimate Guitar or something, because it's without ads and stuff, so it's easier to.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to have the case that I'm like at Crazy Pianos and I'm playing and.
Do you know
there's an ad coming up and
another really good resource is iReal.
Oh yeah, I think I do have that, but that's mostly jazz and stuff.
No, pop music, lots of
really?
It. Yeah. Oh. So I mean, if you go into forums, there's hundreds of thousands of pop songs.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that too, and then I came across all this pop music. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, that can kind of help give you an idea of the chords, because they're not always right as well. And the same with Guitar Rig, they're not always right there. Guitar Rig, what's it called?
Ultimate Guitar.
Ultimate Guitar.
Yeah, they have several versions and stuff.
But other than that, so when you're memorizing a song, do you start off sometimes like reading the lyrics and then move to not reading the lyrics, or do you?
Yeah. With learning lyrics, I really just. I have to listen to the song several times and then read the lyrics maybe, and then actually think a bit about the lyrics, Yeah. But I'm really good at phonetically remembering stuff, so I just need to listen to it a lot of times, and then start practicing it without anything in front of you, a few times.
Yeah.
And the most important thing for me to play a song is like at least know one verse and the chorus. Like the chorus is the most important thing.
Yeah, of course.
But
a verse and a chorus for what we do is perfect.
Yeah, you can save yourself, and then in a bridge you can always make up like, okay, let's do a solo or something,
or go to another song and do a medley. Because I've got to say I've learnt lots of songs by making medleys. And I actually don't know the whole song. I don't know the second verse.
Yeah, you're a big medley guy. Huh?
Because cool medley. Most people don't care about the whole song. I find that actually you'll find that if you go to the second verse, you suddenly start to lose interest. Everyone starts to be like, anyway, let's talk about this, and you're like, okay. But if you can keep that energy high by moving to the next song, which is right, that's the trick, is actually putting the right songs together.
That's also something I really started doing at Crazy Pianos. Like when I notice, like you say, like they're losing interest or something, I'm already trying to make up in my head, like, okay, what song fits this rhythm, or maybe not, but what song can follow, you know, and then I try to save the situation. But sometimes you don't have inspiration for that. And it's good to have some medleys ready.
I saw another guy, Tim Bowie, who I used to play with many years ago, and he would just sometimes stop playing and goes, "This isn't working. This song sucks. Let's do something else." And I was like, "Whoa!" But actually, you know what? It probably was a good idea because now we can play something that is going to work. You know.
Yeah.
Like don't be afraid to say it's not working because it's not actually a concert situation, is it? You know what I mean? It's more about the entertaining than it is about the playing, you know?
Yeah, that's also a really good tip, actually. Like, talk about what you're doing, you know? Like, when you're messing up or something, you can just be honest to the crowd. You're like, okay, people, that was I'm really sorry for that.
Pretty shit,
let's try this, you know? And people will enjoy that, you know? It will not be an embarrassment to say out loud what you're doing, or you know, you can say like break it down, and you can just, you know, think out loud with. That's also a tip.
And what about working with a drummer? What are you looking for when you're working with a drummer?
So I'm not. I have to say I'm not like the most picky guy with drummers, I think, but. I mean, at Crazy Pianos, the drummers have to follow in a way, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
And I think in most situations of piano bars, like the singer is basically leading everything, is deciding when there's going to be like a, you know, like when it's the end, and the, you know, the drummer cannot be like, okay, let's end it here, let's end the song.
That happens though.
It does happen, and
it's kind of annoying.
But it is quite annoying, but it's it is a natural thing, I think, for drummers to do because they're used to like of closing it, you know, like,
which is fine if you're a drummer that's controlling the situation, but for what we do, the drummer is not controlling the situation.
Yeah.
And I find I've had this before with drummers that are pretty good, but they'll just not be looking and they'll decide that you're going to slow down. For the end, you're like, I'm not ending, dude. Where are you going?
Exactly.
Hello.
Yeah. So that's really important. Like someone that looks, you know, like, because then you can do anything.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, then you can even play like with Evelina, or I play many times songs that they never even heard of. You know, but I can lead with my body movements. Like, okay.
Those guys are definitely the most experienced piano bar drummers I've played with. And they're very good. Yeah, they're very good.
Amazing.
Both of them are great, you know, in their own way. And also Patrick.
Oh, Patrick, yeah.
Power Patrick.
Cannot forget Power.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
He's also very good at doing that, at communicating, watching, listening, you know.
Really good, yeah.
Yeah. So it's tough.
It's
tough
really
to drum.
delicate. Yeah.
You drum, don't you?
Yeah, I drum a bit.
Do you drum at Crazies sometimes?
I did on Sundays and stuff, like, you know, like, I can hold down a beat. Like, I'm left-handed, so I'm left-footed too. So like the kick is always a problem for me. You know, like I cannot do complicated stuff.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
But but I like learning new instruments.
So you actually learned to drum left-handed?
Yeah, I mean, no, I learned to drum on a right-handed kit, and then I have my hands like not like this, but this.
Yeah, open.
Yeah, open. But you know, I've never been in a situation where I had to do like really complicated stuff. Like I mostly drum just for fun and for my own music, so I can just do whatever I want, you know. But yeah.
I'm curious. Online, where can people find you?
Yeah, many platforms. So TikTok, obviously, Bonno Getz. I think on everywhere it's Bonno Getz. I have a website, bonnogetz.com.
Oh yeah.
Facebook, Bonno Getz. Yeah. YouTube, Instagram, obviously. I think that's most of it. I'm not on LinkedIn or something, but yeah.
Actually, it's funny because my wife was talking to me about LinkedIn, right? And I've always been like, well, this is not for me because LinkedIn's for, you know, kind of like 9-to-5 professionals.
Yeah.
But she said to me, no, well, look, actually, what you should be doing is you should have a profile on there and you should advertise to those people.
Okay.
Like for corporate work.
Okay. Well.
And I was like, oh, yeah, that's a really good idea. So if I just put a profile up and start advertising, hey, you know, you can hire the piano men through, you know, because, another place to do it. I never really thought about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, because a lot of people are on there. So
yeah, and I just get annoying things like, you've been in 3 searches this week. Like, for what? Window washing, because, how many 9-to-5ers need a musician, while you're doing your taxes, or, very bizarre. I'd love to end on another song.
Yeah, sure.
One of your favorites, again, that would be awesome. Or actually, you also write your own stuff, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, maybe you want to play something.
All right. Then I have to decide which one.
Up to you, man.
Let's see. Yeah, play some of my. I can do a short part of my. So I have ADHD, obviously. Maybe. But I did write a song about having ADHD, kind of like. But it can speak to anyone that's kind of like distracted, or like there's a lot of thoughts going on.
Oh yeah.
And it's called Another Thought.
Okay.
All right. Also part of my cabaret show. My brain's a puzzle in a game of ping pong. I need to know the population of Hong Kong. Can't find my focus and the day just begun. How do I go on standby? Wait a minute, what's the capital of Chad? I suddenly remember that I left her unread. Oops, said her love was so strong, but I could only hear Rick Astley's song. Never gonna give you up. Another thought, another thought. Another thought, another thought. Another thought, another thought. Can't quiet down. Another thought, another thought. Another thought, another thought. Can someone find me? The off switch, switch, switch. I think it's there. Wait. I tried to call you when I grabbed my phone, but then I saw there was a protest in Rome. What? The Oscar's going to Sylvester Stallone. Priority is not my cup of tea. The clock is ticking and I'm losing time. But first let's Google something that nearly rhymes. Ate my mom's spaghetti, and then I told a stranger, marry me. Another thought, another thought. Another thought, another thought. Another thought, another thought. The days are long. Another thought. Another thought, another thought. Can someone find me? Some tips to calm me down, 'cause I don't want another frown. The government gave me a pill so I can learn how to sit still. The teachers tell me I'm a fool, but still I did okay in school. 2 bachelors. Please God, don't give me another thought. I will take another shot, 'cause I don't want another thought. No more thoughts, no more thoughts. No more thoughts, no more thoughts. I finally found me. A cliche ending.
Awesome, man. I love it. Love it.
Thank
Fantastic, you. Man. I love those quirky things you do, because I've seen a few of them on YouTube.
Oh,
and stuff.
cool. Yeah.
Very cool. It's very unique, I enjoy people doing that,
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. It almost fits with piano bar,
Yeah.
Especially American piano bar. I don't know if you've seen much of American piano bar.
I've seen a bit in Texas. Yeah.
And that's kind of more from that angle, but not original though. So that's really unique, you know.
Yeah, it's a bit more theatrical, I think.
Kind of. But I don't know. It is, but it isn't. It's more a musician's point of view, you know, like because it's not you know, that kind of musical theatre sound. You don't have that. You have like more kind of a clean pop sound, you know.
Yeah.
Your voice, you know. So I find it really interesting. It's really unique, you know. I've not heard that before, man.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Awesome. Man, it's been awesome having you here. Thanks so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I had a blast,
and I'll probably see you at Crazy Pianos.
For sure, man. We'll see each other around.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
All right, all the best.
Thanks again for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as every Tuesday we interview another international piano entertainer. Check out our links in the description, and until next time, have a great week.